Emotions are powerful. They can help us dictate our motivation, our ambitions, but they also have the power to tear us down. I think fear is one of the most powerful emotions a person can feel, and it's used a lot in Omocat's Omori. Omori has truly captivated my heart with its presentation. From the colorful art style from Omocat, the both beautiful and catchy soundtrack by Slime Girls, Clover and Sea Life, and Bowen, and most importantly, the depressing and horrifying story makes this easily my favorite game of 2021. Yeah, I know that doesn't mean much since we're still early in the year and we have Resident Evil Village right around the corner. And yeah, I know this game was released last year, but come on, that was basically a week before the next year, so hell yeah, I'm gonna count it. Who like to moonwalk? Would I? Oh yeah! This is awesome. Omori is a turn-based adventure RPG where you play as a kid known as Omori. You and your friends explore a very vibrant world known as the Dream World, or what I call it in my playthrough, Dreamscape. You guys explore all around the world to look for your lost friend Basil. I might be pronouncing his name wrong, but I've gotten so used to saying Basil with the emphasis on the I rather than on the A for Basil. If saying his name that way tortures your very soul, go ahead and leave a like and a comment saying how I should burn in hell for disrespecting your favorite character. Anyway, for any RPG, you gotta have a fun combat system with engaging mechanics and visuals. Omori's combat doesn't try to do anything new or try to reinvent the wheel or anything, but it is fun. It has this unique mechanic where you can manipulate people's emotions for stat boosts. It also ties in very well to the themes of the game, which is pretty nice. I really like it when games do that. You can make them sad for more defense at the cost of speed, you can make them angry for more attack at the cost of defense, or you can make them happy for more speed and luck at the cost of hit rate. These three emotions form up together in a sort of weapon triangle like in Fire Emblem. Happy beats anger, anger beats sad, and sad beats happy. It's a very simple mechanic, and while in the early game you don't need to worry about it much, later on it definitely becomes incredibly useful. For example, this skill, which you'll be using for 99% of the entire game, allows Omori to brutally stab someone for true damage if he's sad. The entire system seems very simple, but it is really fun to play around with, especially in the boss fights. Oh, and there's a lot of boss fights. I don't know if you know this about me, but I love music in games. So much so, I'm willing to overlook a lot of glaring problems in games if the soundtrack's a banger to listen to. If there's one thing I'll remember from a game, nothing makes me remember it more than from its soundtrack. Omori has so many fucking bangers, it's not even funny. It ranges from being a happy, catchy battle theme, to a blood-boiling boss battle theme, to a solemn Lavender Town-like song that just doesn't leave your head. It's also one of the only soundtracks I decided to buy, because it was really that good, the other being Terraria. For the story, I'm reluctant to talk about it. It's one of those where it's best to go in blind and find out everything for yourself. Hell, even the Steam page rarely says anything about the game. It's literally only just 2 sentences. To give you a very basic synopsis of the game, apart from what I said in the beginning of the video, you play as Sunny, or whatever you name him, a troubled shut-in who's casted himself away from the world around him, only finding himself in the self-created world called Dream World, or Dreamscape still sounds kinda cooler. Depending on the choices you make, you'll be exploring both the real world and the cooler world, learning more about the mystery behind what happened 4 years ago. The game has 2 routes, and it's worth playing at least twice because both routes have very special places that the other one can't really go to. Now, while I praise this story a lot, and it's definitely its best point in this game, it's not at all means perfect, right? Depending on who you ask, the pacing has a bit of issues. It feels so padded. I feel like you can take half of the game time that I've played into like around maybe half, and you'd still get most of the story down. So if you don't like RPGs, but you're in it for the story, well, good fucking luck. Might as well just watch someone else play the game and experience it that way. And if you want to understand the actual main plotline, you don't really need to go through all this hubbub through the dream world to experience that. There's that weird disconnect at times where you're like, oh, you're having so much fun in the dream world that, wait a minute, I'm playing a psychological horror game. Oh yeah, I forgot. But I don't see that as a bad thing. I feel like Omocat specifically structured it this way based on the events of the game. Sunny wants to forget his life in the real world, so he goes into his dream world, and it does a really good job at immersing you into it by just having these fun and humorous characters and just interacting with them. It's pretty cool. I tried making a bad point about the game, and then I only ended up complimenting it. That's how much my love for this game has blinded me. That's really all I have to say about this game. It does have the psychological horror tag on Steam for a reason, but I didn't want to show any of its tricks like that in the game relating to the horror aspect of it. There's no cheap jump scares that do a really loud ass sound and get a scream out of you. A lot of them tend to be really tame, only relying on making you feel fearful about your surroundings. I also found out that this game was kickstarted back in 2014, and it was originally supposed to be released on 2015 of May. Well, that makes this game in development for around 6 years when it finally got released on December 2020. Even if this game is great as it is, I don't really think it warranted around 6 years of development time, especially since a year or two of that time were kept in the dark from to their backers. I've seen Omocat's tweet about this, and you can tell how much this game meant to her. And seeing the final product, I think a lot of people agree that there's so much love put into this game. All in all, Omori, just like its development cycle, has driven me around emotionally, in a good way. So many laughs, so much sadness. It's one hell of a roller coaster ride. I really hope the people who watch this video and still haven't played Omori get a chance to experience this, because come on, it's like it's like one of a kind experience for all you guys. And as well as for those who have played it, I wish you all a very fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening. I'll see you later. Also, this game really made me learn something important. I really need to play Earthbound.